What's going on, guys? Tax HD here. I know I'm a bit late on this, but a bunch of you have been asking me to make an NHL tier maker list. So today we're going to be ranking the best NHL players. If you guys have never seen one of these before, basically just a tier list with different rankings. So you got franchise at the top there, or I guess different tiers, right? Franchise at the top, elite, great, good, and average. Now, this is supposed to be the best NHL players, so I really doubt any of these guys will be average. I think there's like 50 players in total here, so basically we're just going to go through and rank all of these guys. Like I was saying, I'm pretty sure like all these players are at least good, so what we're going to do right now actually is just delete the average row. All these guys are above average for sure. So franchise, elite, great, and good. I think that makes a bit more sense. So starting off here, Alexander Barkov. He's not franchise, but he is a very, very good player. A lot of people say the most underrated player in the league. So I think he would be in the elite tier. Next up, Ovechkin. That's pretty obviously franchise. Arguably the greatest goal scorer of all time. Next year, we have Anze Kopitar. Now, this one's kind of tough. I feel like Kopitar definitely was elite like last year. This season, though, not quite. So he's tough. For me, he's like in between great and elite. You can kind of look at it like franchise, elite, really good and good. Just think great's like really good. I guess defensive aspects of this game, he would still be elite. But for me, he's kind of like just barely there. Panarin, I think, is a really good player, so I'll put him in great. And you know what? I want to change. I can change this. I'm just changing this up as we go. I feel like a really good there makes more sense opposed to great. Austin Matthews, I don't think he's quite franchise, but I do think he is elite. Some people probably don't think he's that good, but he's a very good goal scorer, young, good two-way player, everything else. He's elite for sure. Marchand, he put up 100 points this year. This is a tough one. He's definitely the best kind of like pest in the league. He's another guy that's like elite or really good. Dang, I don't know. He does play with really good players in Bergeron and Pasternak. Do we think he's just really good? Like, is he on the level of a Barkov, Kopitar, Matthews? I don't think so. I think he's the tier below. He did put up 100 points. Probably going to catch some flack for that one. Braden Point, he's pretty close to elite. Geez, this is a tough one as well. I feel like he's another guy who plays with very good players. Maybe you put him at really good for now. I feel like it's not like elite in terms of NHL where it's elite potential. This is elite like, basically we're probably going to have 5 or less franchise players. Maybe like 10 elites, and then the rest will all be really good and good. So Brock Besser, for instance, he's really good or good. I guess you could say Besser is really good. Again, he's younger. Clayton Keller, I think, is just good. Like, what do you have, like 50 points this year? He's a good player, but for me, he really hasn't done enough to kind of break out yet. Connor McDavid, obviously, he's a franchise player. He's the best player in the league, in my opinion. And next to you guys, we have David Pasternak. He's another guy I feel is in between the elite and the really good category. I'm thinking, like, maybe do we add another category? Like, maybe we have franchise elite, great, really good, and good. Because, I don't know, I feel like there should just be another category in between there. Alright guys, so as you can see here, I added back the great tier. Probably would have been a lot easier just to like switch the average tier to really good and move it up one, but whatever. So great, I think Marchand's there. I think Point's there. Panarin, probably there. Besser, I'd say really good. Pasternak would be great as well. It's like elite, I feel, is like borderline franchise where you can kind of carry the team, which I think all 3 of those guys can. Where these 4 guys, I feel, you know, you need other players with them, and then you kind of go down from there. Dylan Larkin, I think, is really good. I think, like Clayton Keller, you know, he had 1 bad year, but he's got better defensive games, faster. I think he's kind of on the level there with Besser. Peterson, it's tough because it's rookie year, so I think you probably go elite with him, but then he kind of tailed off at the end. So I'm thinking for now we'll put him great with, you know, potential to be elite. Eric Staal, I think that's pretty easy. Right now he's just a good player. He used to be, I would say, up in the elite category back in his prime, and then since then, obviously getting older, down to good. Evgeny Malkin, now he's like borderline franchise tier for me. I think in his prime he was franchise. Now though, I would say he's just more of an elite player. Kuznetsov, I think, is very, very good. For me, he's like elite or great. I'm probably going to go great for him. Philip Forsberg, I think, is a very good player as well. He's kind of in between great and really good. Now, is he on the level of Is he on the level basically of those guys above him? I think he's probably like 1 tier below with the Besser, the Larkin. Jack Eichel, I feel like he's got to be elite. I don't know if he's quite shown us enough yet, but there's sparks there of elite. I think he's on, you know, Matthews tier. Definitely not the McDavid tier like I tried to make him out to be. Jamie Benn, I think, is a very good player. I don't know if I would say he won an Art Ross trophy and everything, but like looking at those guys in the elite category, I feel like Jamie Benn would just be a great player. Now moving on here to John Tavares, I think he is elite, obviously. Carried the Islanders. At least we thought he did. This year they kind of showed they didn't quite need him, but no, he's a superstar in the league for a reason. Johnny Gaudreau, so I guess he'd be the first elite winger. I think he's honestly a top 10 forward in the NHL easily, so he belongs in that elite category. You can see I'm making it tough to make franchise. Like, franchise has got to be next level. Huberdeau, I think, would be right here with Besser, Larkin, Forsberg. Really good. I don't know if he's quite on that great level. Jonathan Toews, I mean, some people probably thought he was franchise at one point. I think his peak was probably elite. Since came down to great. I think at this point he's probably just really good. Obviously, very good two-way center. This year he got a big bounce back year, but like a couple years before that, kind of make him in this category. Leon Draisaitl. People are probably going to hate this, but I think he's elite, guys. I think he's shown. Obviously, he does play with McDavid and all that, but he was like, what, a goal behind Ovi from Maurice Richard, top 5 in points. The dude's an absolute stud. A lot of people probably think he should be on that great list. Logan Couture, I feel like during the regular season, Logan Couture is probably really good, and then in the playoffs, he's elite, so it's kind of tough. I guess, do we just put him in the great category, like in between there? I still don't know, because I think like looking at these players, where does he kind of fit in better? I feel like he's probably really good, because this is just kind of overall, but in the playoffs, like I said, the dude is elite. Mark Scheifele, for me, I think he'd probably be, would he be on the elite level? I think he's probably great. I don't know if he's quite on the level of the other guys. I mean, he is close, though. It's like, we're talking like, you know, kind of game of inches here. Mark Stone, I think, he's probably great because of the defensive aspects. Kind of showed that when he plays with Vegas, plays with better players. Him and Duchesne tore it up this year. We'll go there. Matt Barzal, he was insane his rookie year. This year, not quite as good, but still a very solid year. I feel like coming off his rookie year, he probably would have been great, but sophomore year wasn't quite as good, so we'll just have him on the really good tier. Matt Duchesne, I feel like he's a good player, but ideally, he's probably like a very good second-line center, low-end first-line center, so we'll put him really good. I feel like franchise is like best players in the league. Elite is like your obvious first-liners. Your great is also first-liners, but kind of like more support players, not quite carrying a team. Really good first, second-liners, and then good on a good team, probably more of a second-liner, in my opinion. Domi had a very good year. Before that, though, he was kind of like an average player, so it's looking at it, like, it's tough for me to put him out of the good tier, because it's like 1 year. I'm going to put him good for now. He had an awesome year this year, but I feel like we need more from him to kind of move him up into the list with the other players. Zibanejad, I would say he's really good. Legit, you know, first liner there for the Rangers. Mikko Rantanen, is he elite? He plays with McKinnon, he plays with Landeskog. I would say he's great. Mitch Marner, I think, is he elite? Is he on the level of Matthews, Tavares? I know everyone says he deserves $11 million and all that. It's tough, though. He definitely, I think, benefits from the players he plays with. He's elite or great for me. Is he on the level of, like, Gaudreau? This is so tough. He's definitely close. But, like, is he better than Rantanen? I don't think so. I think he's on the level of Rantanen, so we're going to put him there in great. Now, McKinnon, this is a tough one. He's obviously elite, at least elite. And I think he's honestly made a case that he's now a franchise player. I think he is that good, so we'll put him up there with McDavid, with Ovi. Nick Backstrom, I think, is an elite playmaker. I think he's shown that. Ovi, one of the reasons Ovi is so good, he'd be like a goal scorer regardless, but Backstrom, I think, is often overlooked. Nico Hischier, I think he's just a good player. I mean, you could say he doesn't have a lot to work with on the Devils, but still, Taylor Hall's MVP year, Hischier still had like 45, 50 points. Like, we need a bit better than that. Like, I'm thinking this is like averaging 50 points, this is averaging 60, 70, 80, and then like 80 plus kind of thing. Kucherov, now he could be franchised as well. Back-to-back 100-point years. I mean, he does play with really good players, though. Do you put him elite or do you put him franchise? I feel like Kucherov's too good not to put franchise. That's another one where it's tough. We'll put him up there. Patrick Kane, I think, is also a franchise player. Like, the dude, he was absolutely tearing the league up. I mean, this year, even he was MVP candidate. And, yeah, I think Patrick Kane's a franchise player. 3 Stanley Cups, whatever else. Laine, before this season, he would definitely been elite. I thought he'd be the next Ovi. After this season, though, I'm just saying he's great. I think we need to kind of see the consistency from him. Sean Couturier, I think, is a really good player. We'll put him there. Sebastian Aho, I think, would be a great player, especially after this year. He's played very, very well. Crosby, obviously, franchise player. If you had to ask me, like, to list these guys. You probably have like McDavid 1, Crosby 2. Taylor Hall, I think, is an elite winger. Showed that with the MVP candidate year, or MVP season last year. Injury problems obviously exist, but when he's healthy, he's elite. He carries teams. Tyler Seguin, I think, is also elite. This one might be controversial, having Seguin above Ben, but honestly, I think he is. I think Ben's more of like a power forward, maybe a bit defensive game, but I think Seguin's just slightly higher level for me. Arvidsson, he's a good player, so we'll put him there in good. Tarasenko, I think, is for sure an elite winger. William Nylander, this is a tough one too. Is he a really good player? Like this season, he was pretty average. Is he on the level of the Besters, Larkins, Forsbergs, or is he more with Kellers and that? I would say, see, I don't want to base it just off last season because a lot of guys had really good seasons. I didn't base it just off of that. I said like this is 50 and this is 60, so I'll put Nylander really good. He's also having a very good showing right now in the World Championship, but another kind of poor season. I definitely would put him back in the good. Steven Stamkos, I think for sure would be elite. It's almost franchise, but I think Kucherov has shown he's maybe a tier above him. Claude Giroux, I would say he's probably an elite player there for the Flyers, so elite's there the most now. Jakub Voracek, I think he's a really good player. I think that'd be the best spot for him. Patrice Bergeron, I think, is definitely elite for sure. Just because, the two-way game as well as the points. Marchand, Pasternak obviously both put up a ton of points. When you're playing with Bergeron, who is, just everything he does right, I think both these guys benefit. So, especially too, I kind of favor the center a lot of the time, as you can see, definitely some center bias. And then Blake Wheeler here, I personally think is probably the most underrated player in the game. A lot of people say it's Barkov. I think it's Wheeler. For me, Blake Wheeler's elite. I think he's probably just slightly a tier above Scheifele there. Such a good player. Like, he plays center when you need him to. Big power forward, defensively, everything else. So, right there, guys, is my top NHL players tier list. I think I was pretty fair. Again, I'm sure some of you guys are going to disagree, but hopefully no one disagrees like more than a tier. Like if I have an elite guy that you think should be good or a good guy you think should be elite, definitely I messed up. But I think overall, it's a pretty solid list. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see more tier lists, be sure to let me know in the comments section. And other than that, guys, thank you as always for watching this one. If you did enjoy it, leave a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.